Hey guys! What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the next game review. And since that Splinter Cell Chaos Theory celebrates its 20th anniversary a week from today, I thought I would take today to talk about and cover the very first Splinter Cell game that I ever played. Moving on to today's review, I'm here to talk about Splinter Cell Conviction, the 6th installment of the Splinter Cell series. Splinter Cell Conviction was released in 2010 for, I believe, the PS3, Xbox 360, and PC. I don't know for sure about PS3, but I know for certain it was released on the Xbox 360 and PC. In the events of Splinter Cell Conviction, we once again follow Sam Fisher, who was once again voiced by Michael Ironside, who, following his stint as a double agent, Sam Fisher returns out of hiding, having learned that his daughter's death was no accident, and even more so, the very real possibility that his daughter just might be still alive. Before I continue on with today's video, I just wanted to say welcome to my channel, everybody. For those of you who are coming by my channel for the very first time, be sure to hit the subscribe button to do not miss a future video, or it's a feature review, a reaction, top 5, top 10, or whatever I have coming your way, and join me on my journey to 10K subscribers and beyond, because believe me when I say this, guys, you are not going to want to miss the cool stuff I have coming your way. And for those of you who are coming back to my channel, by the way, welcome back, everybody. You have no idea how happy I am to see your faces once again. And let's also start our conversation below as well. What do you guys think of Splinter Cell Conviction? Is this your favorite installment of the franchise, or which installment of the Splinter Cell franchise is your favorite? Let me know below. And also, just to let you guys know as well, the footage that you're seeing is captured from an Xbox Series X. And really quick as well, I'd like to apologize if in some of the video clips that the colors look kind of washed out. I'm still kind of trying to figure out how to record with HDR settings on, but if things don't look as good as it should, or if the colors look washed out, I do want to apologize in advance. Splinter Cell Conviction was legitimately my first Splinter Cell game that I ever played, even though I had heard of the Splinter Cell franchise before I had played Conviction. But Conviction was the first one that I remember. I think it was the E3 demo. I can't remember if it was Microsoft or Ubisoft had done a press conference, but I just remember that during an E3 stage demo, that Conviction just blew me away, specifically because of how visceral the cinematics were, and how just visceral the combat mechanics were, and not to mention as well the more personal and grounded story. After seeing that stage demo, I wanted to play this game immediately, and when the demo of this game was released, I played the crap out of this demo so much to the point where, no joke guys, once the actual level that this game takes place and following the demo, I cleared that level so quick. Like, guys, I was obsessed with the demo. You guys have no idea. I was so hooked into this game that I beat this game twice, and it was one of the first games, if I remember correctly, that I beat on the hardest difficulty, because let's be real, this game is pretty freaking easy. Let's be real with each other, guys, here. Splinter Cell Conviction had me hook, lined, and synced, and every time that someone had talked negatively, I kept on saying, what are you guys talking about? Conviction's a great game. And I wanted to see years later how this game holds up, especially knowing that, and just to clarify to you guys, I actually completed Chaos Theory first for the first time before I went back to revisit Conviction, just to see how wildly different these games are in terms of design, because like I mentioned to you guys earlier, Chaos Theory is a straight up stealth game with action elements. Conviction, however, is a straight up action game with stealth elements. So knowing those two things, I wanted to play Chaos 3 first and then play Conviction to see how my revisit is. 15 years later, after my first revisit in so long, I'm happy to say that Conviction is still a damn good Splinter Cell game. As good as Chaos Theory? Absolutely not. But this game, at least I think, is an underrated game that I think that definitely deserves more love. Let's get into the reasons why. One of the first things that I really dug about Splinter Cell Conviction is really how different this game is compared to Chaos Theory. Now, like I mentioned to you guys earlier, Splinter Cell Chaos Theory is a straight-up stealth game with action elements, while Splinter Cell Conviction is way more of an action third-person shooter with the stealth elements, which I can want to say this really quick. I can completely understand why a lot of hardcore Splinter Cell fans were not too happy with the change, because Splinter Cell is known as a stealth franchise, and I completely understand why a lot of people, including some people I know, were not too huge on Conviction, even though, and to repeat this point once again, Splinter Cell Conviction was my first Splinter Cell game, and I think that for a first time playing this game, especially for my first Splinter Cell game, I thought this game did a really good job of still retaining the stealth elements while trying to go into a different direction in terms of its gameplay design. One of the things that I absolutely love about the gameplay is that this game is fast-paced and fun, and not to mention as well that it is so freaking brutal. Like, I didn't remember this game being as brutal as it was, especially when it comes down to the interrogation sequences. Holy crap, guys. There are bits in this game, especially the first interrogation scene, where Sam Fisher just fucks a guy up so much to the point where you're just thinking, holy crap, Sam! Especially, and like I had just mentioned, the first interrogation sequence and how that sequence ends is just gnarly and is absolutely brutal. The best way that I can describe the gameplay and how this game feels in general is like a Jason Bourne movie, like one of the Bourne movies, but unfortunately, it's not like one of the great ones like Identity, Supremacy Ultimatum. This game kind of comes off more as like Jason Bourne, a film that, while it disappointed me, it definitely still retains the aspects about Bourne that I love. Compared to Chaos Theory, to which once again the review comes out next week, but I will say this much. While that game is more stealth-oriented with the James Bond feel to it, Splinter Cell Conviction more than anything else feels more hardcore, more akin to Jason Bourne, which is something that I do have to give a lot of props to, that the team at Ubisoft did try to do their own thing and go to a different direction with Splinter Cell Conviction, which is something that I really appreciate about Conviction a lot. One of my favorite aspects of the gameplay is the mark and execute mechanic, which still to this day is so badass. This is the mechanic about this game that definitely gives it the more Jason Bourne feel, to which you're going around either holding a hostage as a human shield, or you take out a guy, mark your enemies, and just waste them like there is no tomorrow. Something else in particular that I really like about Conviction is the game's story. Sam Fisher coming out of hiding to find out what exactly happened to his daughter, whether she was killed or not, and the wild goose chase and just the entire journey that this game takes Sam on. Knowing that this was my first Splinter Cell game, I thought this was such a great, personal, and a brutal story of a guy just trying to find out what happened to his daughter and him wasting enemies in his way. And not to mention as well that Michael Ironside is still such a badass in his role. Something else that I gotta talk about is how great this game looks. In particular, there is an idea that this game implements that I think is a cool concept, and that is the concept of that when you're in the shadows or in the darkness, the game's color palette goes to more black and white monochrome vibe, which I think in terms of the idea and the concept is very, very cool. Seeing the world of Splinter Cell in this more monochromatic vibe, I thought was really, really cool, and it does definitely add, do not get me wrong, to a more stylish vibe to the game. It definitely gives the game more of a stylish vibe to it, and I had to give them props for them trying something new with this game.
Ah! God damn it!
However, and unfortunately, even though Splinter Cell Conviction is still, if you ask me, a good Splinter Cell game, it is a big step down from Chaos Theory. One of my biggest issues, and really one of my biggest disappointments with Conviction, was that, like I mentioned to you earlier, even though I can definitely appreciate that this game tried to go into a different direction of being more of an action shooter with stealth elements, I gotta say I was quite disappointed that this game still decided to go into the more action shooter element with stealth elements compared to still being a stealth game with action shooter elements. Splinter Cell, if you ask any fan out there, whether they're a casual fan or a hardcore fan, Splinter Cell has been known for as long as the series has been created in its inception. It is a stealth-heavy franchise that does have some action beats, but it is more than anything else a stealth-heavy franchise. As I was revisiting this game, I was actually quite disappointed that while I was playing this game, of how heavy of a action shooter this was compared to the stealth-based entry that Chaos Theory is. I really did miss the precision, more slow-paced elements of Chaos Theory. Knowing that I had to plan exactly a time where I had to shoot out a light bulb, turn off a light, or even more so, had to whistle, had to get a character out of the way just so I can get them out of the light, so I could put them more in a darker area so they won't be spotted. Even though Conviction is a fun game, but man, I was definitely more disappointed that I wasn't having more fun with Conviction than I remember this game was when I first played it. Something else that I gotta talk about, and that is some of the dialogue. Holy crap, some of the dialogue is really bad and just borderline cringeworthy. I mean, holy crap, guys. There was a bit in this game, and I think it was much later on. Yeah, it was much later on in the game. I was just shooting out lights, just scaring the crap out of my enemies, and no joke, there is a lot of dialogue where someone was saying, I'm pretty sure I'm paraphrasing this, "What are you, fucking Captain Crunch?" I wish I was making that up. That is an actual line of dialogue that, once again, I'm sure is paraphrased, but the fact that that was a line of dialogue, I just thought, someone actually wrote that? Are you kidding me? Besides that, guys, there is just so many lines of dialogue that I just kept thinking, oh my god, they actually passed this as AI dialogue? Really? Something else that I gotta talk about, and I mentioned this in my pros, and that is the monochrome element. I really dug the concept of the monochrome element of playing this game we're in the shadows or in the darkness, and you're in this monochrome world that where Sam could see everything perfectly. I think that that element is cool an idea, but the execution of that said idea really made the game more distracting more than anything else. And once again, I completely understand that it's more of a stylistic choice that's supposed to really showcase more of Sam's world of what he sees, but I honest to god that the monochrome element of this game, of the graphics, not only was more distracting, but took away from really as what otherwise a really good looking game that still looks good to this day. I thought it took away from the game more than adding to it. Moving on to the last thing, and this was easily one of the biggest disappointments of this game, and that was how short this game was. Splinter Cell Conviction is a short game. The campaign of this game is a short campaign. Even though this game has 11 levels, 11 sections, you can easily beat this game in 2 days. That was my playtime of this game, guys. I beat Conviction in 2 days, and to compare that to Chaos 3, which is, by the way, are on the same amount of levels or on the same amount of segments, Chaos 3 took me almost a week to beat, about 5 to 7 days. That game is challenging, however, it is so much fun to play. Conviction, and do not get me wrong, while it is a very fast-paced game, it only took me 2 days, and by the time I got to the ending, no joke, once I beat the game, I actually thought, that's it? Actually, you know what, guys? And I just realized this. If you have a full day where you don't have anything going on, you can, honest to God, beat this game in one sitting. Like, it is that fast of a game to beat. Like, you can actually blow through this game pretty quickly. So overall, while Splinter Cell Conviction is unfortunately a step down, and a big one at that, from Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, at the same time, Splinter Cell Conviction is still a damn good entry into the Splinter Cell franchise. All in all, I'm going to give Splinter Cell Conviction a 7.5 out of 10. Unfortunately, Conviction is definitely a step down from Chaos 3, but regardless, guys, Conviction is still a fun, fast-paced shooter. It's a fun adventure. That's definitely one that I think you should guys give a shot. It's a fun game. And that, guys, is gonna wrap it up for my review of Splinter Cell Conviction. I hope y'all enjoyed it. If so, please hit the like button, or if you dislike this review, hit the dislike button. If you guys want to share my previous 2 videos, please click at the left or right side of the screen. And of course, until my next review or video goes live, I'll see you all next time.